Hey y'all, and welcome back to another new video. So in my last video I talked about the history of the Malfoy family, and in this video I'm going to talk about other details about the Malfoy family. So their crest, their family tree, the etymology of their name. So make sure you watch, the video I posted a few days ago if you want. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what videos you want to see in the future. And I was going to end it and say until next time, bye y'all. That's not what I meant to say. And without further ado, we can jump right into the video. So I'll start with explaining their crest. So their crest plays, I don't know how to say this word, guys. Is it homage or is it homage? Whichever way, to Salazar Slytherin, because its colors are black, green, and silver, and it has several serpentine creatures in it. And inscribed in a silver banner in Latin, it says, "Purity will always conquer." Hate that. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you guys their family tree. And so the first Malfoy we see, which obviously is not the first, but the first that we ever hear about is Armand Malfoy. I think in the last video I said that his name was Almond, which it's not. It's Armand Malfoy. And he lived at the beginning of the 1000s. Right? That's what it's 2000 and whatever now. Yeah, so he lived at the beginning of the 1000s. So in the first century of the 1000s. And he was the first Malfoy in Great Britain. And he arrived with something called the Norman Conquest, which I probably should know what that is, but United States history class is like a joke, so I do not. And he was given land in, and I know I'm going to say it wrong because I said it wrong in a TikTok and people were really mean about it, but I think it's pronounced Wiltshire, I don't know, that city or town in Great Britain, for services to King William I. Okay, so that's the first Malfoy we hear about. And then many generations pass, and then about 200 to 300 years later, we have Nicholas Malfoy. So the Malfoy family tree is nowhere near as filled in as the Black family tree, which I do have a video about if you want to see. So that's why there's going to be some gaps. So next we have Nicholas Malfoy, who lived in the 1300s. And he allegedly would kill his Muggle tenants, I guess he was a landlord, by pretending to be the Black Plague. Under the guise of the Black Plague would kill people, which that's when the Black Plague was happening, so he got away with it. And yeah, he didn't ever get in any trouble for it. And then once again, many generations pass, and then we have Lucius Malfoy I, who lived during the 1500s. And he unsuccessfully aspired to the hand of Elizabeth I, failed, and potentially jinxed her so that she would never get married. Once again, many generations, and then we have Septimus Malfoy. Oh no, just kidding. We have Brutus Malfoy, who lives in 1675-ish. And he was the editor of an anti-Muggle periodical called Warlock at War. Once again, many generations. In the 1700s, we have Septimus Malfoy, who was the advisor to the Minister of Magic, and basically the Minister of the Magic at the time was literally just Septimus's hand puppet. So basically what the Malfoy family wanted in politics was law. Once again, many generations, and now in more recent history, 1950s, we have Abraxas Malfoy. And so Abraxas Malfoy is thought to be the perpetrator of a mysterious illness that the Minister of Magic, Navi Leech, got in 1968. And Navi Leech was the first Muggle-born Minister of Magic, and Abraxas didn't like this. And he's also Lucius Malfoy's father, and the grandpa of Draco. And sometimes between 1968 and 1996, he dies of dragonpox. Okay, so living at the same time as Abraxas is Cygnus Black III, who lived from 1938 to 1992, and Druella Rossier. And those two get married. And so that's how the Rossiers come into the Black family. And in 1954, Abraxas has Lucius. Okay, so Cygnus and Druella around the same time have 3 daughters. They have Bellatrix Black in 1951, Andromeda Black in 1953, and Narcissa Black in 1955. So obviously I'm telling you about that because Lucius marries Narcissa, making the Blacks and Malfoys related through marriage. And Andromeda goes on to marry Ted Tonks, who's a Muggle-born, making the Blacks and Malfoys also related to the Tonks, which was a great shame to them because he's a Muggle-born. And so Andromeda and Ted give birth to Nymphadora, who then goes on to marry Remus Lupin, which makes the Malfoys and Blacks and Tonks all related to the Lupins. And the two of them, Nymphadora and Lupin, have Edward Teddy. And Bellatrix marries Rodolphus Lestrange, making the Malfoys related to the Lestranges. And additionally, Draco, Narcissa, and Lucius's son marries Astoria Greengrass, making them also related to the Greengrasses. And Draco and Astoria then have Scorpius, and then we're kind of at the end of the family tree for now, at least. but we'll see, you know, what happens with Teddy and what happens with Scorpius. And both of them might likely end up married to a Weasley. So yeah, which the Weasleys and Draco are already like distant cousins through the Blacks, so this would just make them even closer related. So the next little bit of information I have for you about the Malfoys is the etymology of their name, because I actually think it's really interesting. So in French, Malfoy means bad faith in a certain translation, which aka could mean like malicious motive, which definitely makes sense because they hold horrible beliefs, and that's sort of the like direct translation. But also in philosophy, this term means to blame one's own failures on external factors, which I think is really interesting when you consider how often the Malfoys like switch sides just to avoid trouble or punishment. Like they go from Voldemort to not Voldemort to Voldemort to not Voldemort, just like depending on how society is going at the time. So I think when you look at it both directly and philosophically, it makes sense. So I thought that was really cool. And then the last little bit of information I had for you about the Malfoys is actually just like a fun fact about the movies, which I just thought was kind of interesting. So they actually filmed, or at least they planned to film, I don't know how many of them they actually filmed, several different endings for the Malfoys that deviated from the books. So one of which is Draco running to give Harry his wand, and then the another one at least, there might have been more, was Lucius actually getting trampled by Death Eaters and dying. But in the end, they decided not to deviate too much from the books and just have the Malfoy family leave. Which personally, like, I kind of wish some of that would have happened in the book so that it could have happened in the movies. Because I would have loved if Draco had given Harry his wand, or if Lucius had been trampled. Like, sorry if that's harsh. But since it didn't happen in the books, I'm glad they didn't put it in the movies, because then there would be too much fighting over which one was canon. So I like that they didn't deviate from the books, but I wish that it had happened in the books, if that makes sense. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Yeah, so just definitely let me know, and then let me know any other video requests that you guys have, and until next time, bye y'all.